We're going to finish out our last week of GD&T using the wheel assembly we made and using all that we've learned about GD&T to apply the DimExpert tool to each of the individual parts of this assembly. There are a couple more quizzes to finish this week, so as you get to those, you can come back to this part and apply things like run out. That actually should be the last thing that you need to get to, is run out before the end of the week. So that's going to be things like the holes and pins. Anyways, when you get to that, you can come back to your parts and apply them if you think it would be a better design for that part. The biggest thing you'll probably be using is position, and I'm going to run through a part from the tutorial before you made this wheel assembly to demonstrate some things about position. I'm going to switch back over to it, and oops, that's not what I wanted. Oops, don't want that. Okay. So the first thing I want to show is the tangency constraint in DimExpert. So far I have not found a better way of doing this, but this way seemed to work, so it's a little clunky, but it actually did what I wanted it to do. So I'm just going to use the location dimension a couple of times here. I'm going to go from this surface to this surface, place, there, place. I'm just going to keep going around this thing with these dimensions. I'm going to delete them once I'm done with this, and I'll show you what it does for me. And I think I need one more there. Okay, so you see it's overconstrained. Any of the distance dimensions I want to delete, and I'll show you what it leaves behind. Hopefully that didn't delete everything. Nope. So on our planes now we have these tangency constraints on there. If you can find how to apply those without doing what I just did, please share. As far as I can tell, I cannot see any button that seems to do that. So that's a method to accomplish that if you ever run across a part that has tangency on it. So now we should have a lot of yellow. Okay. Alright, my first step here is I'm going to apply some datums. Let's use this main hole here as a datum and the bottom surface as a datum. And then check. That's good. Now I've been using, for the past several parts we've done mostly location dimensions, but now that we're getting into the position tolerance, the size dimension actually is pretty strong. So I'm going to start throwing this on a bunch of spots. So as you see, I have, let's see here, before I even start that, I believe on this part, yeah, I use the hole tool on this. So these each are countersunk, counter bore holes. So when I click on size with these, it actually selects the whole thing and applies all the information for that counter bore. And then because I did this one in one hole feature, it selects both holes and puts that 2x on there. Change the precision so it's 3 decimals to show the 0.375. That one's good. Let's see here, I'm going to do size on this guy, size on this guy, and then size on this one. But before I do that one, I want to use the pattern feature. So it's this and yep, that one. By selecting those two, click on pattern. Oh, I guess that didn't really work, but it says cylinder 22 and cylinder 21, which were on the list here, but now they've been moved into this pattern. By doing that, now I just click on size, and it's grabbing both of them for me. Okay, so now we should have a little more green in there. Let's see here. Now let's start applying our position tolerance to things. So this is our datum A. I want a position tolerance on this outer bore as or boss with a position to datum A. So I'm going to click on our geometric tolerance, click position. For our uses right now, we don't really need to get into what type of tolerance we want, but I want this to have a tolerance of 0.02 to datum A with reference to datum A and datum B. So it's going to be perpendicular to B and basically share the same center point as A. So I'm going to click on that surface, position it. I want it on this one and this one. And okay. Actually, I probably could have done one more of those. This one here. Same thing. Diameter symbol, A and B. On this guy. Place it. Now we're mostly green. Now we just have to do some height dimensions. Click on the bottom surface up to here, but I want it coplanar so it gets both sides. Compound plane, not coplanar. And then I want from the very top down to B. I think there was one. Oh, no, we need, the last bit is going to be some basic dimensions. I believe that's all of them. Yep. So we should have green on the top. Okay, so it's going to be green without those basic dimensions, but we still need to have that to tell whoever's making this part where the true position of that hole would be. So I'm going to go to basic dimension, bottom, hole, place it there, and then I need it for here to out here. I suppose I could put another one over there, but let's do that. There we go. Now the last thing should be is those fillets. So if I click on show, it's only gray on the fillets. Because I did all my fillets as one feature, if you did it more, you probably can group them together with this pattern feature and have this do the same thing. So I'm going to click on size, click on this fillet, and place my dimension. Check. Part is fully green. So we can go in there, apply more form tolerances or orientation tolerances beneath the position to refine that. I'm not really going to require that because I think that's kind of easily understood at this point. So in the end, what I'm looking for, you'll use a lot of this position. It seems to be one of the more common tolerancing types you're going to want to use. But for like that axle, maybe consider using run out when you get to that point in the quizzes. He talks about concentricity and symmetry, about basically never using those except for very specific situations. So I'm going to take his word on that and basically say don't use those two. Profile, probably can use on the wheel itself. So as you do these parts and apply your DimExpert to it, communicate with me and each other, kind of share ideas. As you show them to me, maybe I'll say maybe you could do it this way or that way. But that's how we're going to finish out this week. If we have extra time, we might throw this tutorial assembly into the mix too. Well, we'll see how the week goes, but that's the plan for the week.